Well, okay. It has been a while. Top 5 podcast fans. My apologies, but you know what? Annie and I have lives too. We love this podcast, but we got to work and shit. So anyway, welcome back to the Top 5 podcast. And I'm super thrilled that you have downloaded this week's episode. We've been kind of hanging for a spell. And Annie's with me again today. Hi, Annie Pruitt.
Hey, big sister.
How are you on this fine Sunday?
I'm doing good because I got some outdoor work done because it's super nice. You can't turn down 65 degrees in November, so it's a beautiful.
That is so true.
So
Do not want to turn that down at all. It is hair color day for me, so when we're done recording, I will put the toner in my hair.
Sounds good.
And it was daylight savings this weekend, so extra hour of sleep, kind of. Whatever.
Totally. I just
kind of, daylight savings to me does not mean the same that it did when I was in high school or a child.
No.
All it means now is that it gets dark early and I have to drive home in the dark, and that pisses me off.
Yes. Well, and I get confused about timing on Sunday, especially when the Chiefs are playing in Germany and they're on the television at
geez Louise. There's
30 in the morning.
There's first world problems.
Yeah.
And there's football world problems.
Right.
Aren't the Texas Rangers in the World Series? Did I hear that?
They won the World Series.
It's over?
It's over. And it's like, how disappointing. It was the least watched World Series of all time because it wasn't the Yankees or the Red Sox. It was the Diamondbacks.
But the Rangers have never won a World Series, right?
First World Series. Yes.
Well, see, now that's exciting and that makes me happy. I know the D-backs have won a World Series, and that was when Charles and I watched a crap ton of baseball. Because didn't they beat the Yankees in 9/11 year? Is what I think happened. But that was like Luis Gonzalez and Mark Grace, and the D-backs, they were fun.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a series that we're going to jump on starting today. Annie, what are we talking about?
So the series is going to be Guilty Pleasures.
Woohoo!
We have quite a few different topics for this series, but we're to start our first Guilty Pleasure, we're going to do Guilty Pleasure movies. So
pleasure movies. So do we have a definition per se?
So yes. So when I say guilty pleasure means this is going to be a very embarrassing episode because these are the movies you actually don't like to admit that you love.
Correct.
So, you can't say like Flash Gordon. It's a cult classic. So if it happens to be on your list, so be it. But if it's already like designated or like recognized as being a cult classic movie, a movie that's so bad it's good. But these are ones I do not like to admit that I love and that I've watched multiple times.
Okay.
Yes.
One could probably argue that there's a couple cult classics on my list, but I checked most of these on Rotten Tomatoes just to kind of, give myself some perspective. But nonetheless, they were, let's see. 3 of the movies on my list have like adolescent connection, and then the others, I just happen to love them. So I don't know. It's a thing.
Yeah. So we'll just see.
Yeah.
We'll see where number 5s go. We'll go from there.
All right. Well, you want to go first or do you want me to?
I want you to go first.
You want me to go first? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'll be the one to put the embarrassment out. Okay, so no problem. Yeah, it's all good. My number 5 is the original 1981 Clash of the Titans, featuring the Oscar-winning Laurence Olivier. And I think Maggie Smith is in there, and she's won a couple Oscars. And Burgess Meredith. And who else super famous is in that movie? But then Harry Hamlin, either before he did that Making Love movie that everybody got so freaked out about, or after, I don't recall. But I remember going to the theater to see this with our brother,
Yes.
and one of his friends, and I
Mike
don't know which Mike it was. It might have been Mike
too.
Patano. It might
We
have
were,
been Mike. You were with me?
yes.
Oh my
I
gosh. So you remember the breastfeeding
yeah.
of Perseus and the, titties being, I thought for sure we were getting thrown out of the theater that day.
Uh-huh.
We were not. But now, was this a movie that Dad recorded or that Grandma E sent us?
I don't know, but I can quote. That's like a quotable for me.
That is a quotable. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I can't help it. And the special effects left, something to be desired. And so when they remade it with, that really cute Sam, what's his name? Sam Worthington,
Yeah.
the Avatar guy, I was like, yeah, no, like the whole point of this movie is that it's camp. So
Yeah.
if I actually went to see a CGI scorpion, like the scorpion from the 1981 movie, I think I'd be really disappointed. So when I talk about Clash of the Titans, I tell people do not go see the bullshit remake. You have to watch the original, all camp, nothing but camp, and it's awesome.
It's
There.
glorious.
I
Yeah. I freaking I love Greek mythology. I love Clash of the Titans. So I'm not embarrassed to say I love that movie.
Not either, but I
But
mean, some people are going to be like, "What?"
but I'll say when I was doing like all the times I've looked at cult classic movie lists, that one does not come up. So I'd say that's a legit guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna go with this is so bad. I loved this movie and it bombed. It was a box office nightmare. It was the entire making of the movie was a nightmare, but I still loved it. And that would be the 1995 Waterworld. Loved it. I thought the premise was albeit ridiculous, but I can't explain why I liked it so much. I love the little girl, Trini, what's her name? I can't remember her name right now.
I have not seen Waterworld. Yeah. Well,
You
anyway.
stayed far away from that. Yeah, I mean, obviously they ran out of money when they were filming it, so the ending ended up being kind of they rushed through some of the special effects, right? But Tina Majorino is this little girl who apparently has the map tattooed on her back or just the fact that like land still exists somewhere. And Hopper, this horrible, like, pirate dude, Deacon, who's trying to, get the girl. But I can't explain to you. I guess that's the part of why it's so embarrassing that I love this movie. But Jean Triplehorn is really cool. She and kind of cute little family thing going on. And I can't say anything else about other than I'm really embarrassed to admit that my number 5 guilty pleasure movie is Waterworld.
I love it. Hang on, I gotta type this here on my list for when we do the art. Okay. All right. My number 4 is from 1980, and I only just saw this again for the first time in like 20 years about a month ago, and it pops up. I don't know. I can't remember where it pops up. This is Urban Cowboy. So we went from John Travolta disco dancing to John Travolta country dancing and riding, mechanical bulls in Gillies, which is a real place or was a real place, the biggest honky tonk in the country. And it's kind of a cheesy love story with Deborah Winger, who is adorable. Like this was pre Officer and a Gentleman. But the dancing is lovely, and it's got somewhat of a plot. And Scott Glenn is this really creepy pre Silence of the Lambs. Scott Glenn wasn't he in The Right Stuff too? I think.
Yeah, he sure was.
I think that was a pre-Right Stuff too. But anyway, it's endearing, but it's it's 80s country music, which was not the country music that you and I enjoy so much these days.
Right.
So yeah, it's silly and it's fun. And yeah, I love Urban Cowboy.
I,
And
I
it's number 4 on my list.
I haven't seen it, so I guess I need to up my game.
Looking for love in all the wrong places.
Okay, so my number 4 is the movie called Quicksilver from 1986. It's
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon, who is kind of loses his shit as he's like a trader, like a stock trader, and he does a risky, takes a risk on a trade and loses everything. So he has to become a bicycle messenger. And
Oh my
uh,
God.
of course, the fancy girlfriend dumps him, and he lives in a shithole. After all this happens. But Lawrence Fishburne is also this bicycle guy,
Oh,
but Lawrence Fishburne is kind of a drug mule, if you will. So Kevin meets Jamie Gertz, kind of saves her from her horrible situation, but it's all about like Kevin Bacon kind of drug mule situation. But it's a ridiculous movie because it's some bike messengers, but
he's
it's
a bike messenger.
and
Kevin Bacon, the bike messenger.
there's a really fun scene where he like has a competition with Lawrence Fishburne, like who can make their way from one part of the city to the other,
Oh
and
no.
funny scenes in it. So I honestly I haven't seen it in a long time, probably because I'm too embarrassed to watch it with anybody. So I need to see it again. But I remember watching it over and over and over as a kid, in the 80s and absolutely loving it. So that's my number 4. So this was such a bad idea.
It's fun though. I'm having fun. This is fun. Okay, my number 3 is from the year 2000, and this is a little cheerleading movie with Gabrielle Union and Kirsten Dunst called Bring It On. And why do I like this movie so much? Well, because I was a cheerleader, right? And, I remember what it was like to be a high school cheerleader and also to like, I don't know, it's supposed to be your year. You're going to be the captain and you're going to get to do things your way. And then your boyfriend goes to college and he breaks up with you. And there's just, weirdness. And then there's this, rival school from Compton, the Clovers, and they're better than you. And it's embarrassing. And Eliza Dushku is fresh off of whatever horror movie she made. But then you've got the adorable Jesse Bradford, who's growing up now. He's not,
So cute.
Harrison Ford's son from Presumed Innocent anymore. And I don't know that he was Swim fan yet, but he's adorable for sure. And they did a cover of Mickey, and it's just, yeah, pure cheese. And I am actually now feeling the embarrassment that you are taking on here, Annie. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Bring it on, 2000.
That was the potential for me. That was that almost made it on my list because I love that movie too. Okay, my number 3 is I'm actually not that embarrassed about. It is a guilty pleasure because I will watch it over and over again. But it's not a horrible movie.
Okay.
So my number 3 is 13 Going on 30, 2004 with Jennifer Garner. It's not a good movie. I'll put it that way. But I love it. It's adorable. I freaking love Mark Ruffalo. I can't tell you.
Yes.
So the basis is she makes a wish and magically is overnight becomes transported into a 30-year-old her 30-year-old life.
So it's like the female version of Big, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. So she wakes up and all of a sudden she has boobs and there's a man in her bedroom and she works at a fashion magazine and come to find out that she should have ended up with Mark Ruffalo, but she ended up being a bitch and a horrible person. So she has to come to terms with all that. But it's cute. It's got the cheap thriller dance scene in it, which is super fun. But Jennifer Garner is infectious. She is absolutely adorable as a 13-year-old girl in a 30-year-old woman's body.
I bet.
Friends, these other tweens in her building. So there's a lot of really cute, really great 80s music. And it's sweet. It's a sweet movie. So it's a guilty pleasure because it's not a good movie, but I just can't help it. I'll absolutely, if it comes over my Netflix recommendations, I just go for it and I just watch it over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's adorbs. You can't help yourself.
It's totes adorbs.
It's adorbs. Totes. Okay. 13 going on 30. My number 2, I think has the worst rating on Rotten Tomatoes of everything that I looked at. Okay. And this is actually a tremendous cast and an awesome director. And it's one of those like, oh, this should have been really, really awesome. And it just wasn't, because the story is just dumb. And even with Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, Samuel L. Jackson, and Liev Schreiber, you could not fix Sphere from 1998. Nonetheless, I fucking love this movie. And I don't I don't know if it's because of all the cool people that are in it and all the silly things that happen and the ridiculous ending with, we're going to hold hands and we're just going to agree to forget. And then it's all going to go away. Yeah, no. And Sharon Stone has amazing hair.
Yes.
She has the best hair of her career in that movie. I cannot tell you how many pictures I've downloaded off the internet of her in that movie because I friggin' love that hair. But everything else about that film is crazy and redonkulous. And this like PhD doctorate bullshit competition between Liev Schreiber and Samuel L. Jackson that like, who cares? Like, how has this got any bearing on what's happening here? And Queen Latifah gets like eaten by a bunch of jellyfish. And it's just like the concept of like the sphere thing will prey on your fears. So how interesting that fear and sphere rhyme. Like, is that on? And that, like you, if that pops up on Amazon Prime or I see it on Hulu, it's like, oh, we're going to watch that. Yes. Look at all the jellyfish. Man, this is so beautiful. Oh, the jellyfish are getting a little friendly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, I can do this. My number 2 is the 1987 movie Mannequin. Andrew McCarthy, Kim Cattrall, James Spader, Estelle Getty. So Andrew McCarthy gets a job at this department store doing the windows, and Kim Cattrall is the mannequin who magically comes to life at night, and she helps him create these visual works of art. That's kind of course they fall in love, and James Spader plays the villain as he does, but he's a very nerdy, slimy villain, which, you know, can't turn my eyes away whenever he's on the screen. Kim Cattrall is adorable.
She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Misha Taylor, who was on that Designing Women television show, is adorable.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
So it's not a good movie. It's just not. But I love it. You can't help yourself. I love the way they play around in the department store, and they just have this like their own little life. It's just kind of beautiful. All I have to say about that.
Don't be sorry. Okay, lovely. So honorable mention, right?
Yes, please.
I don't feel badly about this, and I kind of crunch these together a little bit. So St. Elmo's Fire and About Last Night. They're both Rob Lowe movies. And if I was going to do the triumvirate, I'd even throw Oxford Blues in there too. And About Last Night actually is a very good movie from my perspective. But when I think of those movies in my adolescence that, you know, Rob Lowe became the thing. and I had the posters on the wall. It started with Oxford Blues. Then I'm pretty sure we rented more than once from whatever the Waldron video store was, the same place that we rented the Go-Go's primetime video over and over again. We rented Oxford Blues. And St. Elmo's Fire, I suppose, is, you know, Joel Schumacher wrote it and directed it. And I mean, shoot, a lot of his movies are guilty pleasures, like Flatliners. But yeah, I keep thinking of the serious 80s clothes that they were in and the crazy relationships, and you know, everybody's tragic. Andrew McCarthy can't have sex, and Emilio Estevez is in love with Andy McDowell, and Alec is becoming a Republican and he wants to get married. What should I do? So there's great lines, and it's silliness. But I mean, the last time I was in Washington, D.C., and I went to Georgetown because I wanted to find the steps leading to M Street. But I thought about, I wonder if this is a real bar and if I can go find St. Elmo's Fire. What?
Was it indeed a real bar?
I couldn't find it, but I did find the steps leading to M Street.
Okay. Very good.
That's my honorable mention. The Rob Lowe triumvirate of Oxford Blues, St. Elmo's Fire, and About Last Night. But really, like, About Last Night doesn't need to be on that list because there's no guilt there at all.
That's really
exceptionally well-written play by David Mamet that became a movie.
Yeah.
It was very, very well cast, and everybody's awesome in it. So there you go.
So my honorable mention is also a duo. This is so embarrassing. So I loved She's All That, the movie with Rachel Lee Cook, where, you know, they make the bet that Paul Walker makes the bet with, what's his name? Help me out. I gotta look it up because he's such a cute.
Paul Walker
with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, right.
That he can turn this hopeless, you know, nerd into the homecoming queen, of course. So, and of course they end up falling in love, and that's how it happens in high school, of course, right? But the kicker is they made a sequel to it called He's All That, and I've watched this movie like 4 times.
With Robbie Buchanan, with Robbie Keane from Cobra Kai, right? Yes.
Cannon. It's so bad. It's not a good movie, but I just love it. I really, really love it. I
gotta check out He's All That because I've not seen it.
But the cool thing is that Rachel Lee Cook has a role as the mom, and I love her. She's amazing, and
I'm sorry. Don't be.
He's All That. And they're both.
All right, I'm gonna have to check that out.
You are. Yes, please do. Okay, go ahead.
That's just bad. Okay, I'm at number 1, right? Am I embarrassed that this is my number 1? I mean, I guess I kind of am, but I don't know. Tommy Boy from 1995. Chris Farley. Oh my God, David Spade, who I'm calling Richard because that was his name in the movie, and Rob Lowe and Brian Dennehy. And there is some endearingness in this movie because, you know, he winds up saving the company after his dad dies. But there's just some crazy silliness in this movie between the thing about, like, we're going to go cow tipping to doing his maniac dance when they're filling up the gas at the car, and son of a, that's going to leave a mark. Holy shnikes and fat man in a little coat. Richard, I keep calling him Richard. David Spade is just crazy hilarious in this movie. They're both hilarious, but, you know, Chris Farley, rest in peace, you know, had that crazy physical comedy, self-deprecating humor thing. And I don't know that Tommy Boy did well with the critics, but I think it made money. I just think I don't know. Would I tell people, like, what do you do tonight? Oh, I'm going to go home and watch Tommy Boy. I don't know that I would do that, but regardless, it's fun and funny. And Rob Lowe is a total tool. So yeah, talk about the opposite of what I was just talking about, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Shut up, Richard, you little spazoids. Hilarious. So that's my number one.
Yeah. Working at when that came out. So I could not believe the frat boys just kept coming back. That movie ran forever.
Yeah.
Because the longer a movie runs at the theater, the more money the theater actually makes from it. So
true.
But yeah, I mean it grossed, over 32 million. It did really well, but I've seen it multiple times also because when I worked at the theater, I'd probably seen it, from clips like 40 times just because it was there.
Yeah.
So, okay. This is hard. Hang on one second. Let me. Beastly.
Oh,
Beastly. Yeah. So you've got Alex Pettyfer as the Beast and Vanessa Hudgens as the Beauty.
Oh God.
And Mary-Kate Olsen as the Witch.
Wait, Mary-Kate Olsen?
Mary-Kate Olsen as the Witch. So he's
like the Olsen twin.
As in the Olsen twin. Yes.
Oh God.
Looks fabulous as this witch. I'm not gonna lie. So she puts a spell on him and turns his beautiful face into a tattooed, bald, pierced, nightmare, ugly, scarred thing. And, he has to find someone to love him or he'll end up like that forever. So his dad gets him an apartment, and Neil Patrick Harris is this blind guy who becomes his tutor. And
oh God.
I have watched this movie at least 12 times in the last 3 years because I just can't stop watching this. I can't explain it because it's not good, but I freaking love it. It's just about to say I love Beastly, and I love Alex Pettyfer for no good reason at all. So.
Alex Pettyfer from the first Magic Mike movie, but I've not seen him do anything else.
Well, now you have a reason to go see him.
In Beastly, let me guess, you bought it on Amazon too, so you could watch it whenever you want.
Absolutely bought it on Amazon. And when I go to my recently watched, it's usually up there because I do what. Not gonna lie.
Just flip through and watch Beastly tonight. Why not?
I know.
Waterworld's not available. I haven't bought it yet. Oh, Annie, this is fun. I don't know why you feel so embarrassed.
It's horrible.
Let's recap, shall we?
Should we? Okay. So my honorable mention was She's All That, He's All That. And then from 5 to 1, Waterworld, Quicksilver, 13 Going on 30, Mannequin, and Beastly.
My honorable mention was the St. Elmo's Fire Oxford Blues combo. And then 5 to 1, Clash of the Titans, Urban Cowboy, Bring It On, Sphere, and Tommy Boy.
I love it.
Do I own any of those movies? No, I do not. But I suppose I need to fix that.
You probably need to remedy that.
I need to remedy that. Because the remedy is good stuff. Okay, so that is Guilty Pleasure episode number 1 out the way, so we can breathe a little sigh of relief. This is probably the toughest one, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just going to get easier. And why not? It's fun. Okay. So for Annie Pruitt, I'm Chris McPeak, and you have been listening to the penultimate podcast on popular culture, which is called the Top 5 Podcast. And we will catch up with you on the flip side. So adios.
Bye-bye.